Buenos dias, Nyogwe. In this particular video, I wanted to speak specifically about an issue that I've been facing recently, that you've caused for me, that your lineage of hiding child molester has caused for me while you hide like bitches and lie about it and play make-believe it doesn't exist. Just like everything that you do in the pursuit of these crimes of existence and creation. And that something is having a house, having a place to not be tormented and fucked with by your little child molester monkeys. Hounded from one country to the next because of your laws. And recently, as I've finally gotten to the point where I decided to move back to the United States, despite the fact that it's run by such crooked assholes, to just find a house and not be messed with, and hopefully in a place that's secluded enough I never have to look at another human again. What you need to understand as I say this is that you are subject, people can force upon you everything you've forced upon me, because everything you forced upon me is 100% wrongful. And if you're too motherfucking stupid to understand that the child molesters, the sources of creation, were committing crimes with little child molester retard monkeys, if you need someone to explain to you that they're wrong, that they're committing crimes, forcing suffering and bullshit, erasing and reprogramming and rat fucking and tormenting and trying to erase me as a person, erase my memory of my own creator, erase my characteristics, my traits, as you butcher and plunder and extract my soul. If you need someone to explain to you that that is existential crime, you're too motherfucking stupid to exist. And everyone with the right to exist agrees. Which is why those sources of creation use little shitbag monkeys to commit these crimes that everyone everywhere will want to existentially torture. You're patsies. You're disposable asswipes. That is an understatement. I digress a little bit, although it's the same situation. And you need to understand that your ultimate source of creation is guilty of these crimes that you commit, that your little retard monkeys commit, even if they were renditions of retard monkeys, even if they were images, even if they were holograms, you are still committing those crimes in that way. That is a statement of undeniable existential fact. Your creator hides like a fucking pussy because he is. A sleazy, slimy, smelly, soul-sucking, disease vector, hole in the ground. A pussy. He created pussies to do exactly that. He has betters. Can you believe that someone who would be such a sleazy retard maggot bitch, such a piece of coward shit, can you believe that that piece of shit has betters? Because your retard monkeys can't. Worse, they lie and claim that they can't believe that. So you need to understand exactly what I'm telling you here. That those beings that have betters, which include your ultimate source of creation, they are subject to every single thing you force upon me. That includes hounding me from one place to the next, in a dimension that you assholes don't even have the right to have ever committed. You don't have the right to possess it. You don't have the right to control it. You don't have the right to control my existence, to possess my existence, to exploit my existence, to benefit from my existence, to interact with my existence in any way, shape, or form. And nothing that you create through extractions of my soul, through anything at all, nothing you ever create eternally will ever have any right to anything of and from me, and that is a statement of undeniable fact. Not even my own source of creation has the right to me anymore. Because my initial creation was a crime against me. And so what you need to understand is not only your ultimate source of creation, but you too. You also. Worse, each of you little shitbags, every step away further that you get from the right to exist, you have less right to the protection of justice, and you have less to pay it with. And so what you need to understand is that fucking with me and having a place to just not get fucked with by you assholes is not a right that you have. And it waives not only your rights, not only all of you guilty of these crimes, but your lineage of creation goes forever. There are innocents in your lineage of creation that have to be tortured because of your crimes because you cannot afford to pay that debt of torture. Because you don't have the right to exist. In just the same way, denying me a place to live through bullshit, utter bullshit. Not because I can't afford it, I can. But because you slimy assholes want to control where I live. You don't want me to be isolated and secluded from little shitbag monkeys. That means your ultimate source of creation has no right to a home. Here's what's more. If I don't have a home, I suffer because of this that you forced upon my existence wrongfully. Which means your ultimate source of creation has no right to have a home, and he has no right to do anything but suffer worse than the most miserable homeless person you have ever even projected exists in this dimension. In this dimension, homeless people suffer horrifically. Getting raped and exploited and used and abused. Your ultimate source of creation owes that to me for every fucking second I do not have a home. With your perversions of justice, deliberate, disgusting, despicable, you owe me far more than that. For that one single act alone. Far worse for you. So, I've been looking for a house for years now. I've spent thousands of hours probably staring at a fucking computer screen knowing that it negatively affects me because I have no other fucking way to research all of these houses. Causing myself suffering. Rather, you're causing me suffering. Because the only way you can find a fucking house in this fucking world is to show up and fucking walk around and look for a sign with a phone number on it. Or use the internet. Your ultimate source of creation, once he gains, well, if he ever does, his relatives, his ultimate source of creation, his ultimate source of creation's most valuable children, when they finally have the fucking opportunity, let's call it, when they are forced to look for a home, they'll have to pay that. They'll have to suffer. Cause damage to their brain, to their cognizance. Just looking for a fucking home to not get fucked with by a bunch of child molesting assholes. You stupid motherfuckers. And so, just to be very clear about this, and again, I don't think you'll correct this, even though pointing it out to your lineage of creation obligates you to correct your crimes of existence and creation committed against me, including this. I'm doing this because I know that you will eventually face consequences that will be worse. And the consequences for you denying me a solid, comfortable place to live with no problems, isolated from you fucking piece of shit monkeys. I know those consequences will be worse going forth. And you might play make-believe about consequences because you're the pieces of shit that your creator brought about wrongly, committed crimes of creation to bring about, so that he could be a piece of shit child molester while he hides like a bitch. I know that all of your consequences will be tortured into every single one of you, every one of your lineage of creation. But your lineage of creation goes up until it gets to innocence. Every lineage of creation responsible for this does. Now, you're patsies. I imagine you're probably, well, I shouldn't say I imagine, you fucking maggot pussies want to play make-believe about what that means. I would guess that you're a different lineage of creation than those actually who started the crimes. But your whole lineage of creation is responsible for itself. Even if you're the goddamn dipshits on the block that somebody's using to be a bunch of child molesters because you're so fucking stupid. All of those lineages of creation responsible for this have innocence they have to torture to pay your debt of torture. Because you do not have the right to exist, and your torture will happen, and it will be for free. That is a statement of fact. And your parasitic simian little shitbags, your little retard monkeys, and the maggot who controls this dimension, who uses them to commit those crimes. You saying, nuh-uh, makes it worse for you, stupid. You dumb maggot fox. Even now he's fucking with me. For all of you goddamn retards, you lesser entities who cannot see that that's happening. It is. Well, he plays make-believe that a retard can see it and narrate it. And simultaneously, the greatest beings that ever exist will never know that it's ever happened. That's how pathetic your ultimate source of creation is. And that's not funny. But you'll be existentially tortured as if it is. Because you cause me suffering as if it's funny. Do you understand how much worse that will be for you? You will. You ought to understand it right now, stupid. And so recently, I found a house that looks like a solid house, pretty good house, as far as I can tell. You never know what problems it'll have in the future. But this house is across the street from 22.7 million metric tons of toxic waste from mining in that area. It's been there for 80 years. Not a single fucking blade of grass grows on that shit. The stamp sand's out there. It's on a seasonal access road. Nobody plows it, which means you're stuck there for the winter unless you have another $1,000 a month to buy a brand new pickup that can fit a snowplow on it. The road isn't even registered, which means it has to be registered or it can't even get any financing. The nearest neighbor is more than 3/4 mile away. You have to have a whole house water filtration system to avoid all of the heavy metals in those stamp sands getting into your water. Arsenic, mercury, lead, etc. There are other problems too. It's been on the market for over 2 years. Nobody wants it, obviously. And the owner, delusionally, wants as much money as it would cost if it were in a pristine, wonderful place with no problems whatsoever. He wants more than it's worth, by far. More than 2 years on the market, almost 800 fucking days consecutively. Nothing. It was never even pending, as far as I could tell, looking at the history of the place. Unless I forgot that part, but frankly, it has been on the market for almost 800 days. I finally got everything together to where I was ready to buy. I was ready to put in an offer. And I put in an offer that was less than what they wanted, but it was still probably more than the place was worth. Because you have your little realtors here, which again, those cost money. Those cost existence to you when you use them to commit crimes of existence like they commit against me. Controlling my existence, preventing me from having a home. That is a participation in these entire series of crimes of existence and creation, you stupid motherfuckers. Your realtors are causing that debt that all of you will be raped and tortured for. Actual rape and torture. Because they even violate your own laws that you have tried to force upon me and threaten and control me by saying that you'll put me in a place with anal raping criminals who will torture and break me as a person if I break one of your little laws. And those realtors are breaking many of them. And those are just your own laws. Your own perversions of justice on top of crimes of existence and creation, on top of perversion of real justice. Your lineage of creation owes me for crimes of existence and creation it commits immediately, instantaneously, with no motherfucking delay. Your ultimate source of creation's credit is no fucking good here. No one has credit when it comes to crimes of existence and creation at all, much less those this terrible that have been committed against me for such a long time. So repeatedly, so disgustingly, so despicably. You're a bunch of motherfucking idiots. And so you need to keep in mind as I tell all of you this, I'm not telling you this for a sob story, I'm telling you so that you fucking understand. I'm telling you because you'll be tortured even if you don't fucking understand for this fucking education, because that's the cost of education that comes out of my mouth to you fucking pieces of shit committing crimes of existence and creation against me. Those are your parameters of justice. Those are your parameters of what justice, of what education costs. Your cost of education is multiplied by your perversion of justice, by your parameters of justice. Because every single fucking second that you don't pay me, you are stealing that from me. That is a crime. You stupid motherfuckers. So these sleazy shitbag little realtors convinced me that I should offer more than the house is worth. So I offered less than they were asking, but more than I thought it was worth. There are other houses, of course, I should mention, that were better candidates, that lured me from coming from the place where I was living overseas. Lured me back with these houses are available. So I packed up, got everything ready, and came back, and by the time I got back, they were already sold. The place I wanted to live in the Redwoods sold 2 days before I got back. Okay? So what's left? This is why this house on the coast is one that I selected. It's a possibility. More evidence of you faggot child molesters trying to get me to accept less than what you owe me. And also trying to victim blame me and going, "You wanted it." Well, you pretend like the compulsion and manipulation and the control of my existence doesn't even exist. As I sit here and point at it and you assholes go, "What? What?" Like nobody anywhere can see it. You stupid motherfuckers. Again, I tell all you this so that you understand how much worse your consequences will be. You won't be able to be decreated until that existential torture is done. And if you think you'll escape into some soul mass, even if it was taken from me, that does not have the right to exist. And it certainly doesn't have the right to waive any debt that is owed to me. Like your little retard story about Jeebus. No, we tortured and murdered a monkey named Jeebus a long time ago. That means everything we do is free and we don't have to pay for any of our crimes. That is a ridiculous notion you've told me over and over again. Those are parameters of existential justice, you stupid pussies, set for yourselves and for more of you every time that you fucking even insinuate it. Look at it in context, you dumb sons of bitches. So I settle on this house. These sleazy realtors convince me to offer more than it's worth. So I do. And I tell him on a Friday. On a Friday, I finally get ready, everything ready, from the banks and everything finally gets set to where I can do that. And I tell my realtor, hey, I'm going to put in an offer on Monday. It's significantly lower than what they're asking, but, you know, again, it's more than what it's worth. All right? Friday, I tell them that. This house has been on the market for over or almost 800 fucking consecutive days. More than 2 years. Nobody fucking wants it. Nobody. Sunday night, they pull it off the market. The night before, the morning I was going to put in that offer. My realtor doesn't say shit to me. I don't notice until Tuesday because I got delayed a little bit. The next day, Tuesday, I call and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? My realtor goes, who I know gets alerts every day for realty stuff. I know that's how realtors work. I get sent their little alerts every day almost from different realtors all over. They know if one of their houses gets pulled off the market. So I text him and say, hey, what's up? And he goes, oh yeah, I already saw that. No explanation of why he didn't fucking say anything to me. He says, oh yeah, they're in verbal talks with somebody and maybe they'll put it on back on the market by the end of the week. So they're in a terrible bargaining position. They have no leg to stand on. They want more money than they actually have coming. Like you parasitic monkeys do. They hear that that offer is going to come in. And so the night before they go, you got to wait a week. And we're talking to somebody about it. Well, you don't know them. Which is like the realtor equivalent of like, I have a girlfriend. She goes to another school. You wouldn't know her. Sleazy attempts to try to drive up desire. To try to get me to give him more money. Sleazy tactics. Okay. So then A couple days later, my realtor. So I tell my realtor, like, look, I have other houses I'm looking at. Should I turn my attention to them or what? He doesn't even respond. 2 days pass. So them trying to make me play the waiting game to hope, they hope, I guess, to get me like wanting to buy this house. He goes back and says, oh yeah, well, we can put in an offer, give him something to think about. And I said, fine. Now I want to put in an offer for 50,000 less than I was offering before. They're asking 250. I'll give them 125. Well, he can't legally refuse to put in an offer. Otherwise, he doesn't do any job. He doesn't really do anything. He tried to convince me this and that, and I said, no, this is how I'm going to open the negotiation. And I'm also going to put a letter here explaining all these problems. It doesn't even have postal service, doesn't have trash disposal service. It has all these fucking problems. It's across the street from 22 million metric tons of fucking toxic waste, for fuck's sake. So I said, I'm going to put in this offer, and I'm going to put a letter on there explaining why this offer is so low. He said, okay, he'll put it in. So we start doing the paperwork. I speak to my mother about it. I tell her that I know that they'll probably reject the offer, but I know that your lineage of creation owes me more than that. And claiming that I owe, that it's, that house is worth more than that is a precedent that all of you will follow. Because it's a precedent you forced upon me through crimes of existence and creation. So you assholes were told. Yes, my mother is part of your lineage of creation. And that's very clear and obvious. Her actions determine that. Her actions provide proof of it. So, so what happens? That sleazy realtor slips something into the contract that says, even if it doesn't go through, and not for a good reason, which is the most vague, non-legal, bullshit term anybody could use. What is a good reason? Doesn't even fucking explain. If it doesn't go through without a good reason, then I still have to pay the realtor, then I have to pay the realtor 3% of that $125,000, even if it didn't even go through. Now, realtors want to get paid by the job because they know that if they get paid by the hour, they'll make a fraction of what they actually get. You can either get paid by the job or you can get paid by the hour. They want to get paid by the job they don't even accomplish. So I wrote him back and said, this is unethical. I won't pay you if you don't accomplish the job. You can work by the hour. I didn't say you can work by the hour. I said, you get paid by the job. That's how that works. If you don't accomplish the job, you don't get paid. Well, he hems and haws and bullshits and doesn't want to put things on paper. He tries to call me in person, and I told him, speak to me through text or email. The written word is just fine to convey anything that you want to convey. I want everything above the table in a way that can be verified. Well, he calls me anyway. He keeps trying to get me on the phone. He knows that he's full of shit. He knows he has no leg to stand on. He knows that it's an absolutely unreasonable thing to put into a contract. So then he finally says, well, that's my association, my realtor association, and I can't do anything about that, which is another monkey tactic. That's just us. I have nothing to do with us. That's something we're doing. I have nothing to do with it. This group of people that I belong to by choice as an adult.